Guests, welcome to today's Big Brother Over the Top updates and spoilers. Our house guest today is Melissa A. I hope you're enjoying the season. And if you guys want to be house guests today like Melissa, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Thanks. Okay, so yesterday, Chrissy and Neeley were talking out their issues in the backyard. If you forgot, Chrissy was getting all pissy because her alliance was all like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. And she was just like, it's my opinion, and I'm gonna do what I want, because this is my HOH. So Chrissy was like, Neeley, I want to hear everyone's opinions, but you guys need to trust that I can make the right decision, because Neeley was all ticked that Chrissy said something about it, because she was like, whoa, you're calling me out for this? So Neeley lets her know that she wasn't happy that Chrissy called her out in front of Danielle. She was like, you should have approached me one-on-one if you were so upset about it, and Chrissy's like, it wasn't personal. She's not singling her out. Oh my god, Chrissy says that everything is like not personal, but like everything she describes is personal. But anyway, she didn't want to single Neeley out with that, and she's like, you took it that way, I'm sorry, it was like misconstrued, whatever. So then Jason joins them, and Chrissy is like, we've been a defensive team for so long, and now like we're in power, so we need to make sure we're an offensive team, and we're like making a smart game move here. But in order for that to work, you guys need to trust your quarterback. And, you know, just trust that she's going to be making a decision that will benefit the whole team. Yay, football references. So things were still a little bit weird between Chrissy and Neeley for a while after that, but eventually they did hug it out, and it seems like things are pretty much back to normal, but I think there's still going to be a little bit of weirdness there for a while. So then Justin and Whitney were chatting in the lounge room, and Justin is telling her about the Chrissy and Neeley drama. Good to know for Whitney, right? Good to know that there's cracks in the other alliance. So then Justin's like, honestly, I want to take out Danielle and Neeley at some point, because he wants to strike first before they have a chance to take him out. And Whitney's just like, really? You want to do that? So Justin ends up telling her, I feel like I can work with you more than those two. So he's definitely getting a lot closer to Whitney, and I think he's being honest about that. So then Whitney's asking him, do you have something going on with Scott and Jason? Because that's what I heard. And Justin's like, no. The only reason I wasn't on the block last week when Scott was HOH is because the week before I was nice to him when he was in that sand trap, and he felt like we were friends. So that's all that is. He says that Chrissy only brought that up to Shelby because she was trying to like fish for information, but it's not true. So then Whitney goes and talks to Alex. They share some info in the storage room, and Whitney's like, yeah, I was just talking to Justin, and he said he doesn't have something going with Jason and Scott. And Alex says, it's been confirmed to me that the three guys were working together. Did you confirm that yourself because you were in that alliance with them? Yeah, just conveniently leave yourself out of that. So then Alex is like, Justin was lying to you about that. He's lying about everything so that he can stay neutral, so we can't trust anything that he says. We need to just, like, take everything that comes out of his mouth with a grain of salt. So then they start talking about the targets this week. Now that Alex is off the table, it's like, whoa, who's going to go up? Is it going to be one of the girls going home? Is it going to be Scott? So Whitney's like, the impression that I'm under seems like it's going to be between me and Morgan this week. So then Alex is like, well, we need to get that target back on Scott and Shelby. You know, she likes both of them, but if it comes down to one of the girls or Scott, she's like, we need to get rid of Scott. And if Scott were to win the power veto, there is definitely a hierarchy in the plastics group. You've got Alex at the top, then you've got Morgan and Whitney kind of on the same level, and then Shelby is by herself at the bottom, and it's really sad. So if it's one of the girls going, they want to get rid of Shelby. So Alex is like, we need to come up with some sort of deal for Chrissy. She instructs Morgan and Whitney to approach Chrissy together. So then Whitney and Morgan are trying to come up with a plan. So they're like, we should tell Chrissy, if you don't like target us this week, we'll keep her and Neeley safe next week. Alex tells them, you guys need to like expand that to more than 1 week. And then tell her you'll vote however she wants this week, and make sure you throw Scott and Shelby under the bus. Alright, so we'll come back to that. Last night they had the live DR sessions. Most of the questions were pretty much the same. They definitely have a set that they go to for Friday nights, and then a set that they go for Tuesday nights. So, I mean, the Friday night questions were pretty much the same they always are, except there were a few different ones, like, will you change your strategy at all now that you know that there's going to be a Final 3 this season? And then this one was funny. Who's the most difficult person to live with? Most people said either or some of them said both, Danielle and Shelby. Do you blame them? Because I feel like that's probably pretty accurate. But anyway, I think Danielle actually said, like, none of them are hard to live with or something. That means that you're the worst. Okay, so then Chrissy was discussing her options for this week with Jason, and she said that she wants to do what's best for the two of them because he is still her ride or die. She feels the closest to him, especially now that she had all that weirdness with Neeley. She feels even closer now to Jason, so she wants to look out for him, and she's saying, okay, Scott would definitely be an easy target this week. Seems like America would agree with that move, and he's, you know, both sides are pretty much willing to get rid of him. But then she's like, now Morgan is kind of a threat to Chrissy's relationship with Neeley, because when Chrissy and Neeley were having their drama, Neeley went right ahead and started hanging out with Morgan more. So she's saying, you know, if there was an opportunity for Neeley to flip, it would probably be to work with Morgan. So she's like, if we get rid of Morgan, we take that away from Neeley, and we have her. So then she gets back to Scott, and she's like, then again, if Scott goes, Alex will not have her little, like, confidant anymore. She thinks that Alex will start spilling everything to Jason, and she said that's going to be good for their whole group. So then she's trying to figure out, who am I going to put up? Should I leave Scott for America? She's worried that if she doesn't put up Scott right away, America won't either, and then she's going to be screwed. So she's thinking for nominations, maybe like Scott and Morgan or Scott and Shelby. We'll see. So then Morgan and Whitney are like, can we talk to you in the HOH? So they go up there, they make their pitch to Chrissy, and they're like, all right, we know that Alex was probably your target, and Chrissy's all like, well, that's debatable. But they're like, obviously that plan is, you know, not available anymore because she got the care package, safety servant. So they're like, we have a deal for you. If we're not the target this week, that means they could go up as pawns. You have our votes, and you'll most likely have Alex's vote too because she's probably going to vote with us. So that's 3 votes to do whatever you want. They tell her you will not be our target next week or the following week because they're saying, like, if they were to win HOH back-to-back. And as a little bonus, they would tell Chrissy if anyone threw her name out there. So Chrissy's like, okay, I'm listening. So Whitney says, now Whitney knows that there's been drama between Chrissy and Neeley especially, but also just Chrissy and the rest of her group trying to run her HOH. So Whitney's telling Chrissy, this is your HOH, you should do what's best for your game. And she says, honestly, it doesn't benefit you to take out one of us girls because we want to work with you, whereas Scott is freaking targeting you. He's got ties with everyone all around the house, and when he came up here and campaigned to you with those bullshit campaign points, he was trying to use reverse psychology on you, and Chrissy's like, I know. So Chrissy is like, yeah, I think that Scott would be the best person to go this week. So she lets them know, if either of you guys go up as pawns, you're safe. Like, I'm going to try and make sure it's a unanimous vote so you don't even get any votes this week. But then she tells them if Scott comes down with that power of veto, they got to be ready to kiss Shelby goodbye because it's going to be someone from their group going home this week. Not necessarily. All right, so then also last night at midnight, the have-nots got to eat. So that's Alex, Danielle, and Shelby. Fast forward to today. Morgan was filling in Alex on her chat with Chrissy and Whitney, and Morgan is still paranoid that she's the actual target this week, and Alex seems to agree. She's like, yeah, I think you're going up on the block. So she's telling Morgan, you need to talk to Chrissy again today, you know, after the have-nots are revealed, because Chrissy was all like, I'm not going to make any decisions till I see what America does. So she's like, you need to get that together and make sure you're really pushing for Scott or Shelby to be the target. So then they have the have-not reveal, and it turns out that America voted this week for Scott, Neeley, and Jason to be have-nots. Whoa! So that's the second time for Scott, First time for Neeley and Jason, and they were all trying to play it off like, it's fine, we're gonna have a great time, whatever. I don't know, we'll check in with them in a few days. It seems like Jason's already pretty grumpy about it, but Justin was running around celebrating again. He's like, I'm not have that, thank you, Becca! But it was, you know, if I were Justin, I would probably like reel it in a little bit, because I feel like that could probably get on people's nerves. You know, he's doing it time and time again. But anyway, lots of chilling out today, waiting around for part 1 of the safety ceremony, which will be tonight. We won't find out who the nominees are until tomorrow night, but it seems like people are kind of getting on each other's nerves today, because Chrissy has been complaining all day about how, like, Shelby cut the crusts off of her sandwich and, like, wasted food, and Chrissy was like, who raised you? And I don't know, it's just, like, unnecessary drama, and it was wild. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.